What if I told you you could get your dog to do more by saying less? What if I told you that if you communicate to your dog in the wrong language, you could actually cause them to bark, bite, chew, and chase, and generally misbehave? That sounds crazy, right? The truth is, the owner-dog relationship is complicated, especially in the US, where owners want to bond with their dog by treating them like humans. Our relationship goes back some 15,000 years. US households are filled with millions of dogs, lots of good ones and lots of really bad ones. We have phrases in our vocabulary like man's best friend and stop acting like a bitch. So why, after all this time, haven't we figured these guys out? The truth is, it's a communication problem. And the problem's not with them, it's with us. If we rewind the canine timeline back several million years, we can get an accurate picture of their behavior from their ancient ancestors, and by that I mean wolves. Canines, wolves, wild dogs, domestic dogs, communicate all the time. One of the problems that humans have is this communication is typically quiet. Humans are much more vocal, verbally, physically affectionate than canines are. In the canine world, most communication is done by positioning, body language, and some vocalization. How you carry yourself, where you are in relation to the rest of the pack, how and when you vocalize tells us volumes. So let's look at those three aspects first: positioning, body language, and vocalization. Canine pack hierarchy works like this. Pack leaders, a bonded or mating pair for wolves, are in charge of virtually everything the pack does. Everyone else follows. As you can see, there is no middle management in the canine pack. There's no VPs, no assistant to the comptroller. You're either in charge or you're not. They have several jobs during the day: hunting, patrolling, eating, sleeping, fending off intruders. With a territory of about 50 to 100 square miles, they patrol about a tenth of that every single day. Pack leaders in front, leading the patrols, leading the hunts, and evaluating any approaching strangers. If you're walking your dog and he's out front, there's a good chance he thinks he's in charge. Looks like this. Sometimes it looks like this. Ever open a door and your dog goes out first? Ever walk up the stairs and your dog zooms by you? Yeah, we all know what's going on here. They're in charge. Pack leaders also carry themselves in a very assertive way. Head up, back straight. Assertive, yet calm. Pack followers will show their submission. They get down lower, curve their back, sometimes tuck their tail, maybe show you their belly. Sometimes they actually pee a little bit. Marking, also part of pack life. Puppies, when they're younger, do their business in and around the den and mom cleans it up. By the time they're 6 months old, they're taken on full patrols with the rest of the pack. Where they still just do their business, the pack leaders deposit their scent. How and where you leave your scent is who you are. Back at home, puppies and dogs that do their business in the yard is the human equivalent of babies wearing diapers. Dogs that do it on the walk, it's like wearing big pants. Pack leaders, also the only ones that lift their leg. It gets the scent higher up. It's a visual signal to the rest of the pack. They're also the only ones that scratch the ground after doing their business. Just to remind everybody, I'm the one in charge here. Here's a big fat bonus for you all. Now, it doesn't matter how many dogs I'm walking in my neighborhood. If anybody's lifting their leg or scratching the ground, it's me. Now, I don't, because it tends to freak out the neighbors. Okay, vocalizing, also part of pack life, but not as much as you would think. Predators are quiet unless they have to be otherwise. Loud barking, bark, 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 is reserved for dramatic events, fighting, defending, killing. Hey, buddy, he's coming out later. Howling is used to assemble the pack back to a given location or to broadcast their territory to neighboring packs. Whining is used by the youngest members of the pack to indicate their submission, to ask for food, to want attention. If you would like to put yourself at the bottom of your pack, use a high-pitched voice or what we call baby talk. Who's my cute little sweet Mason? Who did I get on that one? Who did I get on that one? Using a high-pitched voice with a nervous dog can make them pee right in front of you. Use it for the excited ones, the humpers and jumpers. They'll do more of that. With an aggressive dog, you can cause a bite. If you'd like your dog to bark more and be unstable and super excited, then yell like hell. Stop barking, I said, damn it, stop barking. No bark, no bark. You think you're telling him to stop, and actually he's getting more excited and agitated. You're thinking, if I just yell louder, he'll stop. He thinks, bark, 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 this is awesome, we're all barking together, bark, 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 bark. If everybody in the canine pack was howling and barking and whining all the time, dinner runs away. They all know where you are. Rabbits, squirrels, deer, they all run away. Even returning pack members are quiet. Sniffing and wagging is polite on the meet and greet. Jumping up and vocalizing is not. Just like at your house. If your dog barks the doorbell, rushes to the door, nips, bites, lunges at strangers, or even family, they are taking that pack leadership spot, and it's just plain rude. The last thing I'm going to touch on is the canine warning system, and this is very important. It's easy to see when your dog is happy, especially when you get close to them. You might get a big soft wag. If you're special, you get a circle wag. The more difficult piece is to see when they're not happy. Works like this. Warning number 1, eyes go wide, stop blinking, body goes stiff, mouth goes shut. This step is very quiet and very telling. Warning number 2, maybe a growl, maybe showing of teeth, maybe both. Sometimes the growl is so low, if you're not paying attention, you won't hear it. Warning number 3 is a bite, sometimes multiple. Typically not hard enough to puncture, but hard enough to send a message. I warned you twice, now stop doing what you're doing. Sometimes this step is quiet too. I hear you, buddy. Sometimes it's noisy and full of drama. So when we take into account, dogs communicate differently than humans do. You do it right now. They position themselves differently. They see and sniff the world differently. They mark differently. They vocalize differently than we do. It's easier to have a more cohesive relationship with your dog. You can abuse your dog by yelling, kicking, screaming, making them dangerous and unstable. And we've all seen other people do that. On the flip side, you can mentally wreck your dog by giving them too much verbal and physical affection and talking to them like they're humans. My goal tonight is not to teach you how to train your dog, but give you some sort of background on the instincts and habits that they have from way far back. My official title is Canine Specialist. Fancy way of saying dog trainer, but that's not really what I do. Good dog trainers don't train dogs. They train people. People to communicate with their dogs in a language they understand. So I hope tonight that I made you look beyond perception about canine communication. I hope I made you look at your dog. I made you look at yourself. How are you carrying yourself? Where are you in relation to the rest of your pack? How are you really communicating with your dog, verbally, and more importantly, non-verbally? Okay, so what's a dog talk without an actual dog? Come on out, buddy. This is Snickers. Thank you. Snickers is a Beagle Bloodhound. He's very vocal, as you heard. So the last thing we're going to do, for some canine fun, we're going to do a little howling. And here's where I need you to not be quiet. You like that carpet, don't you? Tonight, we're going to howl together as a big pack. We're going to broadcast our TED Talk territory to everybody. Okay? We're going to do this by howling. Snickers has a special command for this. I'll give him the command, and I'll ask you to join in. He really likes the more people that do this, he loves it. We all on board? You two up there in the balcony? We're on board? Okay. Snickers, there's a fire! Sound the alarm! Sound the alarm! Sound the alarm! There's a fire! Sound the alarm! Good boy, good boy. Good boy. Good dogs. Thank you very much. Come on, buddy. Here we go.